Hennepin County says during the pandemic, people were 4 times as likely to report symptoms of anxiety or depression. So the county recently voted to allocate $20 million of federal COVID money for mental health initiatives. We sat down with Hennepin County Commissioner Irene Fernando to learn more in today's Newsmakers.
Mental health is health. It certainly can hope that over the last couple years we have deepened our understanding around the many ways that health and mental health and behavioral health might express itself for young people, for those who are vulnerable, for those who are in need of resources. And so this past week we have made a much larger investment than typical, $20 million to support the entire range of what mental health, behavioral health, again, because it is health. And it's important for our residents, for our young people, for vulnerable people, and for our communities.
And what will that look like?
So it's a whole range. Some of it is increasing or expanding what we already do with a big focus on youth and their families. So think of school-based mental health programs or mental health support for families as a whole. Some of it is expanding hours. So for example, we have a facility called 1800 Chicago. It's a beautiful place for residents who may be in need of crisis support or mental health support. If I were to call 911 today and was in need of that type of support, sometimes a jail cell or an emergency room bed are the only really viable options for me. Neither of those are likely suitable for my needs, and certainly during a pandemic, we want to be able to not add further strain to our hospital systems. So 1800 Chicago is now 24/7, so that's an expansion of existing hours. And then we're also getting to further test some of the pilots that we've been prioritizing around public safety, justice initiatives, and our 911.
And the hope too, I believe, is for this to reach more diverse populations, which certainly applies to some of the northwest suburbs.
Definitely, definitely. You know, when we look at the whole of Hennepin, 45 cities organized into 7 districts, there are certain pockets of the community, northwest suburbs included, that are disproportionately impacted, not only by some of the devastating impacts of the pandemic, but we're also seeing need. Think of food supports. So how are we meeting residents where they're at in a restorative and holistic way, in ways that are meaningful and supportive to their families and to their livelihoods? And so those who are perhaps in need of language supports, immigrant populations, people who have often been either overlooked or at times just completely ignored by our systems, we're really hoping to center in a different way through these investments.
All right, we'll be watching to see how it goes. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Find more local news stories at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.